So now let's move to this fascinating aspect of your business. It's something you and I talked about 4 years ago, is the institutionalization of crowdfunding, this migration to much bigger sponsors. So looking back on the data that we've pulled together here, back in 2014, when you were starting up, the vast majority of deals that were crowdfunded were smaller size deals, sub 5 million. And then that dropped off and bigger deals started to become more active or more prevalent in crowdfunding. And that trend has continued to increase or continued since then. But all sizes have increased. Tell me what your experience has been from when you began in terms of the size of the deals and the size of the sponsors.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So in that 2014 to call it 2017 timeframe, the majority average deal size at CrowdStreet, it was growing, but it was still sub 30 million, right? It was 15 to 30 million was kind of that sweet spot. And rightfully so. A lot of those sponsors, again, how they would raise capital, I hate to use the term, but it's the country club money, right?
Right.
They were really good sponsors to understand the value of what CrowdStreet was bringing, because it was the digital online way of what they do in an analog world, right? Where they go and they meet with investors in person and they have investors in their own personal network, and they grew their network through referrals, right? The harder way, right? Which was like 1-to-1. So what we offered them was, hey, keep your same investors, but expand your investor pool. Now you can have investors, your project could be in Austin, Texas, and you could have an investor in San Francisco, New York, Miami, all over the country, and expanding your brand. They really gravitated to it. We knew that we were going to move from there up, and we've seen that over the last 3 years. We've seen that the deal sizes now are in the 50, 75, even 100 million plus, right? We had a deal recently that was $200 million plus total project cap, right? And the reason, to your point earlier, is those sponsors traditionally raise that institutional single check, right? We had to demonstrate that they could now go out to retail investors in a very efficient, very expedited manner that actually was better than an institutional check, because the sponsors in this case have more control over their project, right? These are passive investors that are excited to be, welcomed to invest with these sponsors, but they also understand they're not going to control the deal with a $25,000 or $50,000 check. So it works both ways. It's beneficial for investors to be able to get into deals that traditionally where they were locked out of, right? Only an institution could invest. And the sponsors are rewarded in that, they don't have to give up total control to an institution to take that single check. So
Right.
Both sides, and that's the power of a marketplace, both sides should be benefiting from coming together online.